You probably know all about disasters. You see them on the news about earthquakes, floods, tsunamis, all these things. So imagine yourself being in such a situation where if these things happen, things start rumbling, things start moving around. What would be one of the first things you would probably do? Well, in modern days, you would take out your cell phone. That looks a bit odd, might not be your first assumption, but actually, unless you're in immediate danger or you cannot do it anymore, people still have cell phones and they use them a lot. Especially to communicate with others, in case they need help, but also in case they want to offer help to each other. And that's something I'll talk about. An example was, for example, during the earthquake in 2010 in Haiti. You might remember that there were lots of people killed, injured, and over 200,000 people died during that earthquake. And oddly enough, people in Haiti, you might not think about this, but they do have a lot of cell phones. So they started texting. And in fact, one of the cell providers opened up a free text number. People could send any message to that number. And they used these messages to create maps about what was going on where. Of course, there were still rescue services addressing the individual needs, but this at least gives an indication where the highest concentration of people might be and where the rescue operations might be most effective. And you think, well, this is a specific case, but actually the number of disasters is increasing over years. That has to do, for one, with climate change, and on the other hand, it has to do with urbanization. People start living closer together, so it's a natural event that occurs in a highly urban area that creates high impact disasters. Fortunately enough, the number of people that die during such incidents is decreasing because we become more resilient. We're better able to help each other. But at the same time, we also see that the damage done, because we live so close together, increases. So that all in all means that there will be different needs. Now, I talked about text messaging, but you all know that technologies are evolving rapidly. We have Web 2.0, we have social media, and a lot of information is available. Not only information, but also the possibility to communicate with each other during incidents. So if we take all these technologies, we can look at different stages in a disaster response. We have rescue stages, we have the relief stages where we provide food, supply water to keep the basic minimum living needs, and we have the recovery stages where we're building back society to the former state, or hopefully even better. So in the rescue stages, you probably all know BurgerNet or AlertNet. Every country has these systems that they use to alert the citizens, but also ask information of citizens. So there's a continuous information exchange about what's going on. And that's the first step that mainly is involved in the rescue stages. If you go to the next stages, which is more the relief stages, you can see that social media plays a whole different role. Now it's being used to organize itself. During the floods in 2013 in Germany, people organized Facebook groups to help build sandbag walls. So now social media is not only information exchange, but it becomes a sort of collaborative tool where a new community can help. And not only during floods. Here is in New York, after the storms and the severe weather, scouting groups helping out to build tents. And even in the Netherlands, when the trains slow down at Utrecht Central, people organize alternative modes of transport online. The Red Cross set up a whole field hospital to keep people overnight, but it wasn't needed. People already arranged it themselves. And also during the recovery in Brisbane in Australia, during floods that occurred there, people came in so massively to clean the neighborhood, the whole aid organizations didn't even know how to keep everybody occupied. There was too many people even responding. But if we look at how organizations, the professional organizations work, it's still informing and communication. But the world is changing through these technical innovations. There becomes a whole complex network of a responding community, exchanges of information, exchanges of aid, and that requires organizations to rethink how they do things. And a great example is, I always use the KLM webcare. It focuses on me specifically as a person. It doesn't tell me to go to a website, it just tells me, tell me your question and I'll look up the answer for you. We'll arrange it for you. So this is something that plays into this whole social media thing about centered on the individuals. And in our research we also build platforms specifically tailored to disaster response. For example, the community-based comprehensive recovery, COBOCOR. It's an FP7 EU project that I'm working on to build such a platform. However, if we look at the technical feasibility, that's all there. We can do that. We can engage with the community. But when we go to the field and we look at how these things would actually work in practice, we see a whole different set of challenges. In the field, we talk to people, we see how they work. For example, this is in the Philippines last January, where we talk about with the communities how they work and with the professional aid organizations. This is Coordate from the Netherlands. On top of field research, we also do disaster exercises, where we prominently place social media as a part of a drill. It's not only practicing fire response, but also practicing with these communities. And there are some interesting things when we learn that happen during these exercises, when we introduce them. Because although at the strategic level, the response organizations say, of course we should work with communities, in fact, when we look at what happens during an exercise, we see that the police prohibits people from taking pictures and even starts taking their phones because they don't want to be held responsible. So they see it as a threat. And actually during the Hurricane Katrina, you could see that the military came in this command and control kind of style. So we need to shift the way organizations think from this threat to more a helpful and web care, customer care centered approach, especially during the later stages. And of course this means going from improving what we've already done with web technologies to rethinking what we do, using technologies as a facilitator. And this is where I focus my research on. Thank you so much.